Right, so the recording started. Right, this is really for everybody else's benefit, but it will give you an idea. Now, if I remember rightly, the last session, it ended on a very, how do you say, a very high note, with you guys running away at the most appropriate point. Let me get back to here. You might feel a little lost at the start. Just join in, or whenever you want to. It's easy. It's easy to. Most people join in fairly quickly. That's right. At the end of last session, you had a message. I remember. You had Professor Dalton had a message on the phone from your office saying there was a certain young lady, a Miss Hanson, waiting for you in the office, and Mr. Smith, Major Smith wanted to see you that day too. And if I remember rightly,
I think we might have started a bit earlier.
You did.
The first thing I've got is
Tokyo Delights. That's it, yeah. Oh yes, you went to that to have a nice meal, didn't you?
Yeah, because we'd had a bad day. So
that's right.
Food because we couldn't be bothered to.
Yes, you went to Tokyo Delights, the Japanese restaurant.
Yeah.
You took one of the knives, the ever-multiplying knives, of which you showed to Mitch, who said it was unremarkable, and you managed to gain another knife.
Yeah.
You had the visit from the Mad Hatter.
Yeah, he just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, and had a cup of tea. You went to the Bun Bush.
Yeah, which is the traditional English
pub. Yeah, in the middle of there, and you basically had a few pints and.
Franco did some singing, didn't he?
You went to a karaoke bar afterwards, and you did some singing.
Yeah,
and you had
Caroline.
That's it. Then you fell asleep. Then the Sunday you had the phone call early in the morning. Yeah. Well, you sort of didn't get up. Suddenly realised you had the meeting.
Yeah.
Because you were late and you kept on not answering the phone. You went to the office, met the Miss Hanson, who had very green eyes.
Yeah.
Who gave you some money for finding something for you, which I don't think you could ever find out what it was.
No, I paid us 10,000 for a job unknown.
Yes, sir.
And then she got into a very posh car with no plates. And
that's it. Then
who works for Professor Dalton at his office. Didn't have a number for her. So
no. Yes, you were getting a little paranoid at that point. On the way to the Bull and Bush, you got glitter bombed again. You met with Major Smith, who turned out not to be the Major Smith you remembered, but an African gentleman.
Yeah.
Was it you who told you the news that your wife had gone missing in Greece? He was helping to investigate where she was. He wasn't. I don't think he was overly impressed with the Greek authorities at that point.
No, he did imply that he wasn't.
Yes. You got another pigeon post with your famous pigeon, with the gentleman that running after it in the flying suits.
Yeah, Franco seems to like getting those messages.
Yes, I forgot what was on that one. I forgot. I can't read your own notes. You didn't do a lot, but you did actually do a lot. You had your visitation from your Russian friends.
Yeah.
Was it Dimitri and was it the big guy with the knife, who generally said you needed to go and wander off and meet the caterpillar?
Yeah, we think the caterpillar is a code name for some sort of
Yeah.
gangster type person.
You get...
That meeting didn't go as well.
No, you went all the way out to Tubac, which is a place you haven't been.
Yeah.
It's a rather normal, was it, part of Al Majara. E.g., it doesn't look weird. And you basically got to the house, got into the door was open, noticed a pool of blood, and you ran away. Especially when you heard when the police sirens are coming in your direction. And
We decided we didn't want to tangle with that.
and I think I left you, was it, wandering back towards the town, towards the edge again, sort of little worse for wear, going, thank God for that, for a nice quiet evening.
I think we borrowed somebody's motorbike.
Yes, you did.
That's how we got back.
Yeah. You also had... Oh yeah, you also had a delivery in the office of a box that contained 5 more of your knives. You were given an envelope with 10,000 year Reich marks in 100 denominations. You saw a UN vehicle. You saw an accident of a familiar German SS tank had run over someone's front of a car, and they were generally arguing. I think you had an argument with a dog who was demanding sausages.
Yeah, that happens regularly though.
Oh yes, sausages.
More than that.
Yeah. Right. So we'll start proper now. So, Red Rabbit, your characters. This is probably a few days earlier. Your characters sort of sitting in the office, doing a relatively boring story, and every few while, as you're writing, you write the word Alice. And you get this feeling that you should be somewhere.
Does the story provide any clues where I should be going?
The story's about... It's a very odd story. It's about, a mysterious island somewhere in the Mediterranean Sea, which no one actually knows where it is, but it's there, called Al Majara. When you look it up on the internet, what's of there, or you look at the atlas, there doesn't seem to be any entries for it. But if you look on the British Airways, flight things, you'll find there's actually one flight a day to it.
So there's this island that seems to be removed from most official records.
Yes.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, but the story is about there's this mysterious... Basically goes along, there is this mysterious island there, but for some reason officially no one knows it's there. But it is there because you can find it on the BA, on the flight lists. And it's, as you said, it's once a day from Heathrow to Al Majara. And it's about, I think it was 11 o'clock flight that takes off. So what do you... It's actually part of your story.
Well, I guess I would pack the normal equipment, notepad, some kind of audio recorder and work.
Yeah.
For now, most of my stuff already fits in this suitcase already, so it's
Yeah.
very easy just to get up.
Yep. And the word Alice keeps on, keeps popping into your head. And you go to book a flight to it?
Sorry, beg your pardon?
You're going to book a flight to the island?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. They seem to know of the island. We'll gloss over how much it costs. It's actually relatively cheap. And if you go at the appointed time, Boulder's Brass, it says Al-Majara, Gates Gate 5, and there's a BA aircraft, and then equally basically people on the flight look like tourists, businessmen, some very shady characters. Some that look as if they look like they ought to be in movies, as in spy movies, sort of watching everybody as they go along, watching you. So it's an odd assortment of people that seem to go over there. And as far as the flight's concerned, nothing will happen as such. You can get on and you fly over, and it actually flies non-stop, and from what you can reckon is, as you fly, you fly over the Alps and you fly into the Mediterranean. You would reckon was it somewhere near Italy? And as the island appears, it's basically like one very big mountain. It looks like lots of trees. It looks like a typical Mediterranean island with lots of trees, and seems to be, as you're flying in, you go past a sort of it's actually a fairly large city. One part looks very neat, one part looks like a port, the other part looks a little bit chaotic from where you are. And as you come down to the airport, you actually see best way of describing it, a terminal which is built like an upside down layer cake. So the smallest part is at the bottom and the biggest part is actually on the top. So it's basically an impossible building. And you fly into the airport, and you go, pardon me, and you go into the actual airport. The first thing you notice is lots of guards, lots of men running around with guns. It's much like in 2001. It's like modern airports. They seem to be heavily armed, with the words Peace Force on the back. Pardon me. Sorry about that. Pardon. And you go up to the passport. The guy goes, passport? You hand him your passport.
Yes, of course.
He looks at it, looks at you. Will you come with me, sir?
What is this about?
Was it immigration? Will you come with me, please?
I'm just going to very carefully unpick my audio recorder on.
Yep. Yeah, your cases are sort of, they sort of take them off you, take you sort of up some stairs into a small interview room, and they say sit, and they close the door and you're left for about 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes a gentleman comes in with a big folder, puts it on the desk, looks at you. Who are you? Simple question, who are you? Come on, hurry up, man. We haven't got all day to wait.
James Larkin.
Okay, what are you doing here, James Larkin?
Sorry.
Do you not know simple English? What are you doing here, Mr. Larkin?
I'm a journalist. I came to about the recent question for the storyteller. Does it look like there's a election happening or
No.
something?
Just make anything up.
I'm here about the local election.
Likely story. You're a spy, aren't you?
Aye. That is a very significant accusation.
It surely is. So what are you doing here, really? Oh, come on, man. I haven't got all day. You're just sitting there dithering all the time. As long as you sit there and dither, the longer we'll be here. I can keep you here all day.
I'm a journalist. Do you have a problem with my equipment? I don't see where the accusations are coming from.
Such leading comments from such a gentleman. Oh, I can't waste my time with you. Stamps the passport. You can go. And sort of picks the papers up and walks out.
Alright. Did those papers look like they were relevant at all, or was he just carrying them around?
He's just carrying a bunch of paper. You don't know if they're relevant or not. He never wrote them and never looked at them. The door is basically left unlocked. You got to go out?
If I'm not being detained, yes, I just...
Yep. There's a gentleman outside. Ah, Mr. Larkin, follow me. We'll get your bags for you.
Thank you.
Right. He was lucky, Becky. Okay, yep, go all the way to, the baggage holding, and you pick your bags up, and it's actually fairly late in the evening, and are you going to try and find a taxi to go to somewhere, because you actually, if you look out the front of the airport, you're actually in the middle of nowhere. There's no city. You're actually outside any music conurbation.
Yep. Yes, I'm looking for a taxi.
Oh, there's loads of them there. And you get, as you're running around looking, you get a hand on your shoulder.
He very quickly just sort of jumps at the sudden motion.
Yeah. You turn around and there's two gentlemen in suits. And behind them are, some heavily armed, like the police force. Would you please come with us, sir? In our taxi. We would like to question you.
Is this about what I was questioned about earlier? Because there's been some confusion.
No. We'd be told to bring you in and detain you. Oh, by the way, they bring out a badge which says Peace Force, Criminal Investigation Department. We would like you to come peacefully, sir. Though we could arrange it to do it unpeacefully for you. I think these gentlemen either side would love that.
A question for the storyteller. How good is my chance of running away?
You're in the middle of nowhere. And they're armed.
Right. Guess I'm going peacefully.
Yep. You get led to a big, car? Actually, a big black car, and behind it there's there's a big Peace Force cruiser. You get put into the back of the car, and you're basically driven towards the town. You actually get driven towards the edge. As you get closer, the traffic gets worse, and as you go for the edge, it's very odd mixture of buildings, districts. It's, how you say, the traffic is horrendous. It's, from what you gather, is it's an odd mixture of peoples, of anything. Just think of all the world in one place, and one of their favourite hobbies is they wander around with they wear nooses like ties, and that seems to be a sort of fashion statement. And you get taken to a building in the middle of actually it's a relatively quiet, you get led in, and your bags and everything else are booked in. You go through the usual booking in of a bit in that, and you're taken down to the cells for the evening. You get given some food, and you will be left there for the evening. So we'll leave you at that point. I know that sounds a bit mean, but there's a good reason why I want you there.
I'm a journalist. You will ask.
You're in the cells again. Right. Well, now we'll deal with Becky. Your evening actually ends up relatively quiet. Nothing more extraordinary happens anymore. You actually have do you and Franco go out for a drink for the evening, Becky?
Yeah, probably just a quiet one somewhere.
Yeah.
Not going too hard, just
yeah, there'll be loads of bars there. And you have you have a quiet drink. You have a peaceful evening, and you get up the next morning. Well, you actually wake up to someone hammering on your door.
Yeah, Professor Dalton will go grab his dressing gown and go and answer the door and see who's what time is it?
It is about 6 a.m.
Professor Dalton is a little bit annoyed by the fact that someone's banging on his door at 6 a.m. and heads grumpily towards the door in his dressing gown.
Do you have a peephole in the door? I can never remember if you do.
I mean, it's probably one of those things I should get. I don't think I do.
No, you don't.
No, I don't.
You open the door to two familiar figures. You know, those two policemen that regularly Peace Force gentlemen that regularly arrest you with their usual set of grunts behind them. And one of them says, "Professor Dalton, I assume. You and your companions are needed down in the headquarters for questioning now. I wouldn't resist, I wouldn't resist, though it might be entertaining for my companions here."
Do I have time to get dressed?
Yeah, but don't try anything silly.
Of course not. Professor Dalton tells them to wait in the kitchen/living room area.
Yep. Mr. Kovakis was unceremoniously woken up. Bartok and
That's not going to go well.
and and the lounge singer's woken up. Mr. Allighieri gets woken up, and you're all in sort of various things traipsed out. to waiting vehicles, as in usual cruisers they have, and you get bundled into those.
The officers witness problems about?
No.
Sit in the back of the cruiser.
Yep, and you get sort of driven. Well, you know where you're going to be driven. You go to. Go on.
Did the police officer who just came? He acted like he didn't know me, didn't he?
He did, yes.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah, remember what things are different.
Yeah. That's why I asked.
Yep, and you get driven to the Peace Force headquarters. You get sat down. You get taken to a interview room.
Okay.
Where you are sat down. And you're sat down, nothing's taken off you, and you're told to wait there. In the meanwhile, the Red Robert, you are woken up about 10 to 6 in the morning, given some very bad coffee and a very stale roll, and you are told to you're told to follow the officers to an interview room.
Have they said anything at all?
Nope. You've been left in a cell all night.
Getting interviewed.
Just looks at you. He says nothing. Follow me.
Yes, I.
Yep. You go upstairs and they open the door to an interview room. With you, Becky? The door opens and another gentleman is ushered into the room. As you go into the room, you see this motley group of people who look equally surprised that you've just walked in. So Becky, you see another gentleman that's just standing at the door looking a little bemused. So what are you going to do, guys?
Is there a chair, or are we just standing?
There's a chair. There's a spare chair.
I guess we go to sit down. I suppose I would ask the nearest person whether group interviews are common.
The professor will be near. You'll be sitting near the professor. It makes it easier. So, go on.
I don't know, to be honest with you. I've just been dragged in here at 6 a.m. No, apparently.
Is that common here?
More common than it would be in London. He's obviously picked up that you're British as well.
Right.
You're talking to another fellow Englishman. The others don't look overly happy. I think Bartok wouldn't be happy at all at the moment. At all, the fact.
All his nightmares have come true.
True. Yep.
Have you been here long? I'm Professor Dalton.
James, please. They actually picked me up from the airport. So this was actually my first night in yeah.
Well, I'm sorry you had to spend it in the police station.
worse. Yes.
Yeah, could be.
Yep. You'd actually know the stories of people falling out of windows in this building. After... go on.
Yeah, Professor Dalton. Sit, like,
Yeah, after about 10 minutes, two of your most familiar figures walk in again. For you guys, for Red Robert, it's someone you saw get last in the airport. For Professor Dalton, you've seen these pair of jokers before, and they sort of put the papers down. Was it sort of sit down? Right. Now, this is sort of a semi-formal interview about a certain event that happened last night. They look at you. They look at, was it Red Robert? They look at each other and they basically make, come, why is he here? They shrug their shoulders. Okay. It's about a certain event in a house not too far away. Well, some distance away from here in Tubac. To do with a certain gentleman called the Caterpillar, and why you were doing there. And before you deny it, Professor Dalton, we have it on good was it authority that you were actually there. Two certain Russian gentlemen.
okay.
So, why were you there last night?
I'm sure the Russian gentleman will be able to tell you.
We would like to ask you why you were there.
I have no idea. They picked me up.
Ah, so they picked you up and took you there.
Yeah.
And what do you do at the house?
Nothing.
Did you go into the house? Professor Dalton? Did you go into the house?
To be very clear, no, I didn't.
So you don't know what happened in the house then?
No idea.
So you wouldn't know that the caterpillar was killed last night?
No? What is a caterpillar?
No, the caterpillar. A gentleman with, was it connections to certain, was it criminal organisations?
So, I have no idea who he is, what his business is, or why I was there. I was bundled into a car, taken to a house, and then that was it.
They sort of go into the folder and put a picture across of a young lady who looks familiar, as in you already have a photograph of her. Did you see this young lady anywhere near the house?
Just for me. Who's he pushed the picture?
It's right. It's Alice.
No, I've never seen her.
Do you know who? Ah, you don't know who she is. She's called Alice, and she was, until about a few weeks ago, held in the Urbane, was it asylum, and escaped during the fire.
I'm sorry to hear that she's unwell and
But you didn't see her anywhere near the house. Okay, so you don't know who the caterpillar is, you don't know that, you don't know why you were summoned last night to see the caterpillar.
Okay, that's a good question.
Okay, thank you very much.
Might be more helpful,
I think you've answered all our questions. Don't be going anywhere. We may be asking...
I live there, so
Yes, I believe you own DK Imports. And we know where that is.
well, to save you some trouble, Professor Dr. issues out a card and passes it across to them. You need to contact me over this telephone numbers there. More
Okay.
convenient than knocking on my doors or something. My secretary will always take a message. Busy.
Okay. You're all free to go. They pick up the things and they wander out of the room.
I pick up my stuff well, I don't think I've brought anything with me.
No.
So, yeah, I'll just pick up my house keys and...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how am I going to get that? I've got my wallet and shoes.
Yeah. And a peace guy comes in and said, Mr. Is it Larkin, isn't it? Mr. Larkin,
That's right.
would you like to come and collect your stuff?
Please.
Come this way. And then you can go with your companions.
Sorry, who are they?
Does it mean you don't know them?
I think there's been some confusion. I only arrived here yesterday.
Oh, interesting. Well, the way of things in our majority never makes sense. Yeah, they bring your cases out, you write your case out and all this stuff, and it's all, as far as you can tell, it's all there. I'm trying to think. I'll have to work something out. Oh, what can I do? And yeah, all your stuff's put back, and you've actually gained in your pockets basically a red metal triangle, which you didn't come in with. So now you have an extra red metal triangle among your personal items.
Is it a particularly distinctive shade of red, or is there a symbol on it?
It's actually the red's in the metal itself. The metal's red,
Oh, right.
as in it's sort of scarlet. Doesn't look as if it's painted on. It looks as if the metal is red.
Is that like a... Does it look like a diamond on a playing card?
No, it's just a was it a block of metal,
Right.
but you've gained it. There's no marks on it. It's actually pristine. Doesn't have scratches on it. And the guy on the desk says, "You better go and join your companions, or you could be a long walk home."
Thank you. Okay, so during the interview, they did mention that the professor associated with an MS was connected to this Russian caterpillar.
Yes.
So that's probably linked to the story. trying to...
It certainly can do. Because the name Alice was always on your mind, and the name Alice and the professor seems connected to them, and certainly he went to see the caterpillar. They're sort of go on.
So you mentioned that the professor owned a what was it? A DK Exports?
Or was it imports? I think it's imports. I can never remember. It's DK Imports.
Exports, bit of both.
Yeah, I think it's imports. DK Imports. Yeah.
So has the professor walked on further?
No, he's sort of standing outside. Well, he's standing outside with the others, sort of milling around, working out how the best way to actually get home at the moment. As you walk out, this place is actually quite pristine, austere, with lots of visitor people wandering around with big sticks with Peace Force on here. This seems to be their home. Right, in the meanwhile, Professor, what are you going to do?
Telephone inside Peace Force Station.
Well, you sort of assume you have as you go back in the station, one of the guys on the desk, you see James, and one of the guys on the desk says, "There's a phone call for you, is it, Professor? From your office."
Surprising, nobody knows I'm here. Yes, thank you.
No problem. The familiar voice from Maria is on the other end. "Professor, I will get back to the office. The White Rabbit's here, and he's not happy, and he's not a happy man."
My day's going so well. Would you be able to arrange for support taxi to pick me up from the Peace Force headquarters?
I can do it. If you wait there, I'll get this all arranged for you. Was it, Professor? And she hangs up quickly. Right. So it's up to you what you guys want to do. There's James and there's yourself and the other guys milling around outside. Probably one or two of them will sort of disappear anyway. Was it Bartok will do a quick exit stage left? And I think.
Could I keep Mr. Kovacs just in case it kicks off?
Yeah. The rest of them will be quite happy to disappear off, especially the lounge singer. Well, he's having a bad time to it. So there's you, Mr. Kovac, and James there. It's up to you what you want to do. These go.
That your first evening on the island has been so eventful.
Well, it was it was free.
That's quite tame for this island, to be honest.
Oh, is it?
I'll tell you more when we're finished.
So it was Professor Dalton.
Yes, Professor Hal Dalton.
Oh.
A gentleman walks past you in a coat. As he walks past you, Professor Dalton, he sort of stops, clicks his feet and does a salute, and then walks off.
Sorry, was that a friend of yours? Or?
No, most definitely. But don't worry about it, really. Don't worry about it. You've not been here long. You'll soon realise that this island is an exceptionally strange place. Which is part of why I'm here.
You can find it on a map.
Oh no, you won't find it on that.
Oh, so that's commonly known there?
Yes. Well, I'm an archaeologist. Part of the reason I'm here is because it's so unique and so unknown outside of the island itself. The archaeology, the history, it's all very much an unknown, and that's what I would like to get looking into. Of course, assuming that things quieten down a bit.
Yeah, after about 10 minutes, one of the big total taxis, the ones with the black windows and the ones where they're very discreet, appears, and the guy leads on. Professor Dalton?
Yes.
Ah, taxi.
Thank you. Would you like a lift anywhere? It's quite difficult to get out of the peaceful sector there.
Oh, this is all. This is all the peace area.
Yes, this is all the city's divided into sectors, and this sector is the Peace Force, which is kind of like the police but on steroids with bigger banners.
And the guy says in the taxi and people fall out of windows.
That was right. Shall we get in the taxi?
Yes, please. Is there a hotel around here?
Sarah, what, sorry?
Hotel?
The main tourist hotel is the Caesar Hotel.
Caesar. Yeah, it's actually Caesar. But that was...
Sorry, I always say that wrong.
Yeah, no, it took me a while to figure it out too. Yep. And the guy noticed your bag and says, "Do you want me to put that in the boot for you?"
Yes.
He gets out. He's actually very well dressed in a suit. He picks your bag up and he gently puts it in the boot. Opens the door for you guys. In you go, sir. Sirs?
Well, I need to. Would you mind terribly if I go to my office first, and then if I drop you at the hotel after? I've got a rather urgent.
Sure. Actually, I did have a couple of questions for you.
If you can do it in the taxi.
Yes.
Yes. By all means. Did you say your name was James?
Yes, James Larkin. I'm with. I don't actually have the name of the newspaper. So,
Yeah, you can make one up. It's up to yourself. Yep. You get in the taxi. Go on.
It's the name of one which is clearly not famous.
Oh, there's
Right, so it's a bit of a niche newspaper.
something like the Brentford Mercury. That is a joke in itself. It depends which book you read. Yeah, something like the Brentford Mercury. It's a small, area newspaper. Yeah. And you get in a taxi, and the taxi goes off. So you can now sort of talk. The guy puts the divider up, so he doesn't hear what you're saying. Yeah, all this sussed out, you see.
Sorry, I'm actually keen to the area to follow a lead. This caterpillar fellow, I believe you said he was Russian?
I don't know. I've never actually met him. I know of him. I think he's some sort of underworld type character. I assume the caterpillar thing is a non-de plume to hide his real identity. Apparently he was murdered last night.
Can you think of any reason why the police would do about that?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation.
Right.
Right, so just
So what brings you to this island?
Oh, I came following. Sorry, I'm working on my next story, and
There's certainly plenty of stories here.
yeah. I'm going to have to look into the windows. At some point.
Oh, I wouldn't if I were you.
All right.
For your own safety.
Sorry. Weird thing. Do you know what this is? And he pulls out the wood triangle.
it's basically it's actually an equilateral triangle made of red metal. And
Where did you get this?
I think someone slipped in my pocket while I was at the station.
Shit. Put it away. Make sure no one sees it.
Oh, it's one of those things.
yeah, one of you, as you're looking around, you notice a billboard. If you look on the roleplay channel, you'll see a PDF, and that's what it says on the billboard.
Sorry, what does it say?
It says, if you need it fast, use a pigeon. It sort of sticks out because it's plain white with that written on it.
So does it say what the triangle is, or?
No, if
I don't know what it is, but I'd imagine people want it. I've been in a similar situation where I've lost a way.
you hear a fake click on the plug on the floor.
Hear a what, sorry?
A clink on the floor.
I look
what's
down.
It's one of the familiar knives.
Sorry, this keeps happening. Professor Dalton picks up the knife and just puts it in his jacket. I've got loads of these.
I see. Sorry, the name Alice mean anything to you?
Alice? Well, that's not a conversation for a car. I'll tell you a little more when we get to it.
Yep. After a while of fighting through the traffic, again, I think you were going to the science barrier. I think you go through various, are they called barrios? You get to one that looks like a student area, as in it's got lots of bars, takeaways, students wandering around, Bartok territory basically. And you get pulled out in front of an office with a sign DK Imports was it on it. The taxi stops and he goes around, opens the door, and you walk out. He goes and gets the cases for you, puts the cases, sort of says, "Goodbye, gentlemen. The taxi's already been paid for, and have a good day."
Thank you.
Gets in the taxi and rides off. At which point you hear a sort of thud above, like a faint bang above you, and you get covered in glitter.
I wish I could say this is the first time this has happened, but it isn't.
You are absolutely all covered in glitter. And it's
Can I ask you a question? Is it different coloured glitter all the time?
no, it's been gold and silver so far.
What colour is it this time?
Gold and silver. And it's sort of, it was about a metre above your head, and it's covered an area about 5 metres, so it's you and everybody else around you have been covered with glitter.
What is everyone else doing? Are they all like looking horrified and brushing off their clothes, or are they just...
Some of them are carrying on, some are moaning about the fact they've just been covered in glitter, looking up, not finding the source. Like yourselves, is it looking a bit weird looking at the moment?
Great.
So is this students?
No. It's... Oh, I don't even know why this happens, but it's happened to me twice so far. And it always seems to be when I'm on my way somewhere important, so I turn out looking like this. Which is frustrating. But anyway, do come inside the office. If I leave you in reception with my receptionist, Marie, I've got a meeting which is possibly going to be short, quite unpleasant. I really don't want to subject you to that. But we can talk about the issue that you raised at the time. What with this person? Please don't mention that one to me. And the professor will go into it.
Yep. You go into the office. There's a young lady behind the desk who sort of looks. Oh, Professor and Mr. Kovac and Mr. She's looking at.
This is Mr. Larkin. He's a journalist. He's got an appointment with me after this.
Okay. Do you want? Would you like a cup of coffee or tea, Mr. Larkin?
Coffee.
Standard, or is it extra special?
Please and normal.
Okay, if you wait here, I'll do that for you. And yeah, I will get in the office. The White Rabbit's a little, how do you say, annoyed.
Sorry, this is just because of the way it isn't. What did she say?
The White Rabbit. I would go in, Professor. He's, how you say, a little annoyed.
Often appears to be
Mm-hmm.
so. I'll go into the office and I will tip Mr. Kovac the nod to come with me.
Yeah. You open the door and you see the familiar figure of the White Rabbit. Middle-aged gentleman with a patch over his eye, who's at the moment puffing on a very big cigar. As soon as he sees you, he comes up. What have you done to find Alice? It seems nothing. It looks like she may have killed the caterpillar. Get your finger out. Find her. She's dangerous. And he's sort of poking the cigar in the direction. Just stop dilly-dallying about. Find her quickly.
I'm finding her as quick as I can.
It's not good enough.
Well, you could always ask somebody else.
Too late now. You're sort of I'm not going to go all the way through this again.
Well, that's your decision.
Okay. Find her. She's dangerous. Don't fail me.
May I ask exactly who is the caterpillar and why, in your opinion, do you believe that Alice would have targeted him?
All I'll say
If I know what she's thinking,
He's an associate.
Oh,
Myself.
okay.
And Alice isn't happy with me and some of my associates.
May I ask why?
No.
Are you concerned that you'll be next?
There is this possibility.
May I have a list of people she might not be happy with?
No.
Well, you need to tell them that they need to be on their way.
Already been done.
Bear in mind that if you're not going to tell me, that will slow me down.
It sort of walks up to you and said, it might mean you survive longer.
Okay. I will continue my investigation to the best of my ability.
Make sure it's done quickly. Do I make yourself clear?
As swiftly and as thoroughly as I can.
Thank you. He sort of opens the door and storms out. Mr. Larkin outside will see a gentleman come out, middle-aged gentleman in a suit, with an eye patch, smoking a cigar. Who was it? Just walks straight out and doesn't pay attention to anything else, and sort of, slams the door behind him as he leaves the office. Right, what's the professor going to do? You going to sit in your office and brood? Or are you going to come out?
Hang on, I'm just catching up. I'm just typing.
I forgot. One thing to note is with this game is always take notes. There's lots of things that happen. Yes. Right. That one's been done. That one's been done. Right. Aha.
The professor will come out of his office.
Mr. Kovac will say, I need to go somewhere. I'll leave you to it.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you being in that meeting. You're never quite sure with him.
No, I agree.
Smack you in the face.
He seems scared for some reason.
I thought that. But anyway, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Kovac goes to the door, opens the door, and a large familiar gentleman walks in. A large familiar gentleman, you would know him as the brother of a certain, was it professor you used to work for? He looks very homely, a certain... Oh, he also looks like a familiar as in a commander you was it once served with in another reality.
Yeah.
And he sees, Professor! He sort of walks, he's got a bag, sort of walks and puts his hand out. Nice
One
room.
talking house.
General, if you please.
Sorry, I've had an intersection. Interesting. General, how can I help?
Aha, I have something for you. It was sort of purloined from a certain gentleman at the upper crust, who sort of took it from you.
Okay.
He opens the bag and produces the now familiar T-Rex. I believe that is yours.
Thank you. Very much appreciated.
Not at all.
Owe you anything?
No. It's just out of was it how do you say friendship?
Oh, well, thank you.
And he sort of walks out and disappears. So you have the dinosaur back.
Dinosaur, I just got rid of the bloody thing. Professor Dalton keeps very careful hold of the dinosaur and says to Mr. Larkin, would you like to come into my office?
Please.
He carefully puts the dinosaur down on his desk.
Yep.
Just to be clear, is that a statue of a dinosaur or a actual?
It's a toy.
Oh.
So it's actually a toy dinosaur, as in sort of, it would be plastic. And it looks plastic.
Right, doesn't seem that unusual.
It depends if the professor lets you pick it up or not.
I'm probably not going to
You're learning quick, yeah.
just pointless, really. Sorry, Professor, are you able to talk about what we discussed in the vaccine?
Yeah, although I trust that you're not going to print it.
I can promise that I won't record this conversation.
Okay.
And he, without breaking eye contact, he just sort of reaches into his pocket and turns off.
I like it. You get
I
it.
won't be reading my own name in print.
You hear it.
Just say an ominous, cool story.
Anonymous sources.
You hear a knock on the door.
Yes?
Door opens. A gentleman in a donkey jacket sort of looks round, taps the side of his nose. You didn't see me. And then closes the door.
The doctor goes to the door. Marie, are you okay?
She says yes. Why?
Did you see that gentleman just?
What gentleman?
Never mind. I shut the door. I can take hold of the dinosaur and I put it in the bottom drawer of my desk. And then carry on.
You know,
Sorry about that.
you know that box full of knives on the you left on the shelf?
Yeah.
It's now overflowing.
Mr. Larkin. So you said you, like, where if you come from London, I assume so. That's the only place you can get a flight.
Yes. London. I'm just following up a lead on someone named Alice.
Yes. How do you know of Alice in London?
Oh, source mentioned it, anonymous.
What's your interest in them?
Well, honestly, I'm just looking for the next big story.
Do you think Alice is connected?
Well, she's connected to a Russian gangster, and it's silent, so something
suppose the police did fill you in on a lot. They told us more than we told them, which is kind of what we were hoping for the interview. Well, yes, I can tell you some, I guess. Yeah, Alice is a patient who escaped from an asylum. You saw her picture. She's a young lady. I don't know why she's there, but it's been implied to me that she's violently insane. You heard reference to the blue caterpillar from the police force?
Yes.
He's some sort of underworld figure. I've never met him. And there are those who believe that Alice is responsible for his death yesterday. I don't know if that's true or if it isn't. But I would like to try and find Alice. That's what's working at the moment. Before I was rudely disturbed and pulled into the police station at 6 AM. That's the
And
short version.
your white rabbit friend, have you seen it?
Pardon?
Oh,
The white rabbit?
yes.
Oh. He's, I think, an associate caterpillar. I think he's nervous because I think he might be concerned that he might be next on the list. It is Alex. I don't know why he's under that impression of what he's done to catch her wrath, like, if it is her.
Do you have any leads or
You got to consult your notes, haven't you?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Sorry.
Yes. I know what they are, but
apparently, well, somewhat cryptic clue that I was given is that she's gone to visit the Red Queen. I don't know who the Red Queen is. So if we can find the Red Queen, maybe we can find
you're also given a photograph on the PO box.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Professor Dalton will show you a photograph. It's the same as the one the police have. It's the same lady.
And the PO box.
Have a PO box, but I don't think it's be useful.
sorry, just as a general question, what was the was it just a PO box or?
Oh, it's one that's. It seems to be based on Al-Majara itself.
Yeah, it's PO box
Forgot what.
1281. The Edge.
You get another knock on the door.
Yes?
Door opens. The same gentleman says, "You didn't see me," and closes the door.
Dalton just looks irritated.
Sorry, is that common?
More common than you'd like. Al-Majara is a very strange place. The Edge is a very strange place. How open-minded are you to things that aren't wholly scientific?
It depends how you define scientific.
I don't believe that time runs in the usual way here. I believe that, well, I know that there are multiple versions of this reality that run alongside, and sometimes they bleed into each other. There's also all sorts of strange things that happen, like that person who came into the room. I'm not sure if he's real because I asked Marie and she said that she hadn't seen him. So it could be an echo from another reality, or it could be...
He assumed he just told Marie to say that.
He what, sorry?
I assumed he just told Marie to say that she didn't see him.
No, Marie hasn't seen him. But all sorts of strange things happen here. People claim to have seen aliens. That's not the strangest thing. There's talking dogs that ask you for sausages. The correct answer to that is no. Yeah. Oh, yes. The triangle that was put in your luggage. A similar thing happened to me when I arrived. How long have I been there?
Weeks now.
Yeah, the same thing when I arrived sort of months ago. This was put in my luggage. He goes into the desk and pulls out the plastic lines. It caused me no end of problems, so I'm not that happy to have it back. It's made of a very unusual material, which is what makes it quite valuable. I've tested it. The strength of it is impressive, especially given its weight. It's not a material that is on the periodic table. It shouldn't exist. Yeah, so I imagine your red triangle would be a similar unknown material, so I would advise you to keep it well hidden.
You hear?
Don't admit that you've got it.
Yeah, you hear a twang, and there's a familiar knife sticking out of your desk.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's another thing. I'm duplicating knives. I've got one about 3 days ago, maybe a little more.
It was I think it was a certain gentleman, was it, that got it there, Algari.
Yeah, and these knives keep duplicating. I started off with one, and now the motions to the box behind it. I have about 30, but we just keep duplicating, and I don't know how to stop it. He takes the one out of his jacket and shoves it in the box with the press.
Yeah, that's definitely overflowing now.
Professor, you're going to have to forgive me if I find this all very hard to believe.
Oh, completely. If someone had told me this when I first arrived in London, I would book them into a sanatorium myself. So I assure you, it's personal. For this place, tell you what, let me prove it to you.
Please.
Have one of these knives.
Is that legal?
Oh yes, so long as you don't carry guns on an island.
I guess you very carefully takes a knife.
Yep.
You've got.
Sorry.
Yeah, you have one of the knives. Actually, it's a sharpened paper opener. That's for fact.
I have 2 by me.
So when you see these duplicate, do they split in half, or do you just find more? Or
Just find more.
do you think someone's just playing a very strange prank on you?
It is. It's the best freshman prank I've ever seen in all my years of teaching at universities. And I've seen the classic one where they have 2 pigs and they paint them 1 and 3. But anyway, no, they're all exactly the same. And Professor Dalton grabs a handful of them from the box and puts them in a line in front of you. And you can see that each one has got a fault in the knife, a little like nick in the blade, and every one is exactly the same. You can check the whole box if you like.
How many knives did you put on the desk?
4.
There's 5.
See? You believe me now?
Okay, let's put that to one side for a moment.
He just sweeps them all off into the box, which is put on the floor, because he's guessing the shelf is going to give way.
Yep. They're definitely flowing out from the box. As you put them back in, it seems to be a little bit more fuller.
Okay, anyway,
Apologies, the island isn't quite overwhelming. It's very different from London. The usual rules of time and logic and possibly even sanity.
You get another knock on the door.
Yes?
And Marie pops her head round. Oh, Professor Dalton, I have a phone. I've had a phone call from the Cheshire Cat, who's asked you to meet him at the Ara Delights in the Millennium Market at 7 p.m. He seemed very insistent that you join him there. Oh, he did invite all your companions.
Where was that?
The Ara Delights, the one in the Millennium Market, one of Mitch's other restaurants.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Is it Mitch's other restaurant?
Yes.
Alright. Thank you. Well, if you want to find out more about Alice, all these people seem to have Alice in Wonderland themed names. I don't know whether that's some sort of organisational quirk. It's a very strange thing to base a criminal organisation on, but I suppose there's been stranger at some point.
And you.
Have I met the Cheshire Cat before?
No, you don't even know who he is or what they are. For all you know, it could be a talking cat.
We're meeting the Cheshire Cat at where?
The other, you've been there before. It's the other one in the Millennium Market. The one that the barrier or the market that was never completed. It's a white horse, a white elephant. Sorry.
It's in the market district.
It's a very small district. I haven't got the map here.
That's okay, don't worry.
Yeah, it's sort of been.
Is it a nice district that's safe-ish, or is it one of those that's a little bit edgy?
It's quiet, peaceful. So the police will patrol it. And all you remember last time you went there, it wasn't complete.
Okay. Just in case we run into the peace force, general note for dealing with them. I generally do what I did today, which is tell them as little as possible, be amicable, don't try and be smart or obstructive, don't give them the hint that you're going to be obstructive in any way, and try not to challenge them, because there are verifiable stories of people falling out of windows. It's a particularly dangerous place to be, that police station. You need to get out of there as soon as you can. The best way to do that is tell them as little as possible.
It's going to be a few hours before the dinner date, so it's up to you if you want to go back and freshen up before you do anything.
Yes, I can drop you off at your hotel if you like.
Yes.
And then pick him up afterwards.
It has a nice bar to it.
Yep.
Yep, we'll set off.
Which taxi do you get? Giovanni's or the total taxis?
I'll get the total ones. The Giovanni ones with a bit of an experience. So leave those until we need to.
Oh yeah. Yep, you use it to do that. The taxi arrives. Ooh, this paper's not very good. And you go out to the taxi. And there's a familiar little figure there. Sort of pigeon-like, with a flying helmet, goggles, and a bag round his neck. He's got coo, coo.
Hey, Franco's not here.
Coo.
Is it for me?
Sort of looks at you as it a little bit.
I will have a look and see if it has a message.
It certainly does. I'll put it on the. I'll put it on the thing there. You can see the channel, the role-playing channel, can't you, Becky?
Yeah, the text one.
That's it. And that's the message. And the pigeon sort of, as it looks behind it, flies off, and you see some, was it a three gentlemen, one tall with a moustache, one short and fat, and one tall and thin, all in, was it grey coats, followed by was it a dog with a flying helmet on. And they sort of look at the pigeon and they sort of run past you after the pigeon.
I will. I'll pass James the message. Sometimes you get post by pigeon. I've got used to it yet. This is a new one.
Is Albuquerque a base here, or
I have absolutely no idea what it is.
You, to be fair, you have to have a misspent childhood and being my age.
Turn right to Nope.
What's up, Doc?
Oh, is it Bugs Bunny?
Yes.
I don't know what these messages means. I assume that somebody thinks they're useful, but it's one of those things on this island. You get used to strange things happening. You just have to sort of take it in your stride as much as you can. If you spent time worrying about it, you'd be a nervous wreck by the end of the first week.
Yep. The black taxi comes and you get it takes you to Cesar's hotel, which actually, when you get to it, it's actually a very nice hotel. Lots of security, right in the middle of an area which looks like a tourist trap. I think it's a sunken barrier, isn't it? I think it's a sunken barrier. Yep, actually it's on the sunken plaza. So cool because as you drive into the barrio, you actually have to go down a slope to get into it. It actually is lower than the area around it. And the hotel looks actually quite clean, safe, lots of tourists. And the person at the desk says to Mr. Larkin, good afternoon, sir. What can I do for you?
Sorry, I don't suppose you have any rooms?
We do. Do you want a single, or a double, or a suite? And for how long?
Just single room for. Let's start at a week.
That will be. We could do an offer $140 for a week.
Just a question for the storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have dollars?
You'll have a little money. Oh no, you won't. No, you wouldn't have known it's in dollars. You wouldn't have found out. And you'd have pounds sterling. What's the matter, sir?
I don't suppose you accept pounds sterling. I was waylaid when I was at the airport. I was able to
Yes, we do cater for that, sir. That will be £200 for a week.
Do I have £200?
I'll let you have £200.
What? Yeah, I rent the room.
Yeah, they give you a key, and they say and the porter comes along. He'll pick your bag up and he'll show you to where your room is.
Alright.
I'll wait for you downstairs at the bar.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, you go up to the room. It's a very nice room. Yeah, you can freshen up. It's got all the mod cons. What do you expect in a tourist hotel? And you take your jacket off, and guess what? You've got two knives.
Okay, good. Still be in the lab of bank. Well, I guess the first thing I do is try to remove all the litter.
Oh yeah. You can do that. Generally tidy stuff.
Forgotten about that.
Yep. Well, you don't really. You just get covered in glitter. You just get totally used to it. Yep. Yeah, and after a while, you can clean up. Nothing else extraordinary will happen. And you wander off back to the bar. Does Professor Dalton have a drink, or are you just sitting there, generally doing nothing?
He's probably just got tea and a newspaper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything interesting
actually, strangely, there's a headline to do about the caterpillar, a well-known, was it a criminal or boss who'd been, was it brutally murdered last night by persons unknown, and apparently,
Give any details who the caterpillar is?
other than that he's a crime boss, no. He's a very tall, thin gentleman.
Got a picture?
Yeah,
Oh, excellent.
he's not Russian. Well, he doesn't look Russian.
Does it give his real name?
No, they just call him the caterpillar.
Oh, right, okay.
And in the murder, all his staff was killed in various brutal ways.
And, do they have any idea what the weapon was?
Most of it seemed to be stabbing. Most seemed to be stabbed or slashed. And apparently the house was very bloody.
Yeah. Yeah, when Mr. Larkin comes down, the press was passing the newspaper. Looks like the Mr. Caterpillar memory was on the awful end.
He was variously stabbed, etc., etc. It wasn't a pleasant death, and it wasn't a pleasant death for his staff either. They'd also been variously stabbed. Basically, anybody entered the house, anybody in the house wasn't alive afterwards.
So, I mean, if it is...
Oh, the caterpillar is a painfully tall, skinny Asian gentleman with very blue eyes and blonde hair.
hang on, I'm just going to... Blue eyes and blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's painfully tall. The picture you see of them. He's sort of tall and skinny. Much like a caterpillar. Except
Is he
that, go on,
with a blue caterpillar, or is it both?
say that again?
Is he called just the caterpillar?
It is just the caterpillar. That's all they call
Oh,
him.
right, I've called him the blue caterpillar.
Doesn't matter. They only call him the caterpillar, as far as you know.
Well, at least we have a picture now.
Yes, and he was involved in the local crime.
Is there any clue as to where his sort of... I mean, we know where he lived, effectively, but where his sort of area of control was?
They don't give you in the newspaper.
No.
To be fair, there's so many criminals here. Where would you start?
Yeah, the professor will give the newspaper to Mr. Larkin. You might be able to make some contacts at the newspaper that might be useful to you.
What's the newspaper called? Oh, it's was it it's Almajara Today. Was it a very unoriginal name for the was it newspaper? Yep. So are you going to, are you going back to your house, Professor, before you go, or your apartment before you go on the meal?
I was just going to go straight to the meeting.
Okay, yep. You can get another taxi and go across town to the other restaurant. You've been here before, if I remember rightly. If if you remember rightly, it's a very quiet version of the Tokyo Delights.
Yeah, the professor will tell you that this is a very nice restaurant. It has another one that's similar, but the other one is called Tokyo Delights, and it's a lot. It's got more of an in crowd than this one. This one tends to be quieter, but it's probably slightly less stylish than the other.
And it's Japanese.
Yeah.
So you have to like Japanese food. Okay, you get across town, actually uneventfully for once. No visitor, no dogs, no nothing. And you go to the restaurant, and the guy at the door says, "Ah, Professor. Nice to see you again. If you follow me."
Thank you.
And is this gentleman with you?
Yes, this is Mr. Buck.
Ah, nice to meet you, Mr. Larkin. And he takes you to a table with a Rasputin gentleman. He has light brown skin, bright brown eyes, and a smile that's a little too wide. And he gets up.
Hang on a minute. Could you give that description again?
A short African gentleman, bright eyes, which will be brown, with a smile which seems to be a little too large. His mouth is large, and it looks larger than it should be. Hannah gets up and says, "Professor Dalton and companion, please allow me to introduce myself. I am the Cheshire Cat, a particularly important man in certain circles in the Edge. Please sit down and join me in a fine meal during which I will discuss a few things with you."
Yeah.
You get handed the menus. Would
Yeah,
you?
I'll take one.
You, Mr. Larkin?
Sorry, what's the...
What was that?
sorry, was he handing us...
Yeah, I was handing you a menu.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Yep. Would you like sake? Everybody?
Yes, I'll take some.
Very good.
They serve coffee.
We can do coffee for you, sir. Yep. Comes back, puts the bottle of warm sake, the glasses down, puts a coffee cup down with cream and sugar in a separate bowl. It actually smells like very good coffee. Your coffee, sir. And you can order whatever you want.
Yeah, so we'll just order, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Chicken ramen.
Yep. You can have starter meal. Yep, there'll be a... And yeah, the food will come as long as you need it. And at some point, was it the Cheshire Cat, between eating, will start. Professor Dalton, please do not deny it. I know you have been employed to find Alice by the White Rabbit after her escape from asylum. Not
Is he
surprising.
a friend?
Pardon me?
Is he a friend of yours?
As associate.
Ah. That
Yeah.
bird seems to be doing the rounds.
Indeed so. A big smile on his face. I'm not surprised really, as Alice has murderous intent on a number of people in the Edge, which includes the White Rabbit, and included the cat caterpillar. From the reports, she's already executed her revenge on him. I gather in a very bloody way. To a lesser extent, she also has murder stories on myself, but unlike the others, I can look after myself. I will not go into details why she is the way she is, as that would, how do you say, that's now history, and things have changed since then. But I will say that the White Rabbit is very worried, gentlemen, and Alice is little more than she seems, and very dangerous indeed.
Would you say convinced that Alice is the person
He's
Professor Doctor or Professor Potato?
If his smile could get any bigger, it has, and he says, yes, she seems to favour was its stabbing instruments. Ask the White Rabbit about his eye.
She was the one who did that.
She could have. Or did she? That's the question. So how much is the White Rabbit pay you to find her? If you don't mind me asking.
I can't divulge them, so I'm afraid.
Ah, what a shame. But it shows you have, how you say, some morals and scruples.
Well, I can't divulge the details of my
And who's this gentleman was it here? I've known of your other associates. This seems to be a new gentleman.
Sorry, James. I have my hands.
Yeah, he puts his hands and he sort of shakes your hand. Nice to meet your acquaintance, James. So you're a new associate of Professor Dalton, then?
Yes, I'm you.
And how do you find the island?
It's on the departures list at I just did research and got a ticket here.
He sort of looks at Professor Dalton. Did you not tell us it's your associate just how interesting the island can be?
Well, I only met him when he got here.
Ah.
We ran across each other.
Yes, I have heard you was it pick up waifs and strafes on the island. Ah, and have you was it seen Mr. Morningstar lately?
Must confess, not recently. Is he a friend of yours?
Well, he's well known.
I imagine so.
Interesting.
But we digress slightly.
Indeed we do.
Back to Alice.
Indeed so, an interesting young lady.
Do you have any idea where she is?
No.
Or do you have any information that would help me to find her?
How do I put this? If I knew where she was, would I be talking to you?
No.
And would she be a problem?
Imagine being as you're confident you can look after yourself. Probably not.
That answers your question.
Raises the question, why do you need
I don't, I just wanted to see, just to confirm who you're working for. And it's the White Rabbit, one very sturdy gentleman.
Is he a competitor of yours?
Not directly. More, as I say, as associate.
An associate?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you'll have to forgive me, I am a bit of a time but is there anything that you can tell me that would be useful to finding her? Because it's in your interest as well.
As I said, if I can find her. No. No. You could always try her family.
Her family?
Ah, you didn't know.
Who's her family?
That would be making it too easy to tell you.
Where do they live?
In the Edge. Or used to.
Do you think she's gone back?
Who knows?
Okay. Well, I appreciate that information for what it's worth.
They're saying that. They could have moved to Freedom City.
Well, that's not somewhere I've ever been. Have you?
Only if our illustrious leader needs to talk to us. And
Well, in Freedom City, that's a bureaucratic centre.
yes, he sort of picks the glass up. A toast to the to the president. May she long rule over us.
May what, sorry?
Rule over us, or not rule over us, as the case may be.
Yes.
Well, I think I've done my. I've had everything. Enjoy the food. I will leave an open tab for you.
Thank you. I hope it's been an interesting meeting.
Oh, indeed. I will leave you Professor Dalton. And I will leave you Mr. Larkin. And do hope you enjoy the island and its eccentricities. It also helps to be slightly insane. And he sort of...
James just politely laughs.
Yeah, the Cheshire Cat smile gets big. It is unnaturally big. And he walks out of the restaurant. I think that's a good point at leaving the game at the moment, because it leaves it at a good juncture. No. Okay. I'll leave you as it work out what you want to do next. And did you enjoy the game?
Sorry, I'm just catching up on my time.
Did you enjoy the game? Was it Robert? Red Robert?
Yeah, it was interesting.
It is a bit overwhelming
At the start.
Very, very strange at first. Professor Dalton does try and give the impression that he knows what he's doing most of the time. In reality, he's just as confused
Well, you've got some more information. As you said, you've got the PO box, you've got the photograph. You know she has family, and there may be.
Our next stop could be Freedom City. Because if they
You also got the folder from the asylum, and the only thing they've got in there is the postcode, is the PO box. And if I remember rightly, that's how they pay everything, is via the PO box.
yeah.
The PO boxes have to have owners.
Yeah. Is a PO boxes actual places you can go to?
Yes.
Boxes at a post office?
No, it is actually. If you looked at it, it is an actual place you go to.
Oh well, we can go there next time then. See.
Yeah.
I didn't realise. I thought it was just a box at a post office.
Well, you have to go somewhere to get it, but yeah, it has to be physically somewhere for them to pick it up. So you can't have a box. You can't have someone not there to physically pick it up. It's a bit pointless. So yeah, you'd have to find where the PO boxes are in Al Majara, wander off and find it, and then find out what you need to do. And see how kind they are. Do they give you the address or not? Which is
Well, hopefully Mr. Kovacs will join us and then that'll be a problem.
yes.
Mr.
Oh.
Kovacs is the only one out of all of us who has any form of intimidation / practical.
I don't know. Was it someone else might help? If I remember rightly, your new companion, being a journalist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Right, I'll switch the recording off. When I get round to it, I'll actually put that on.